my name is Ellie, and thanks for checking out my YouTube channel where I talk all about the path that I'm walking on, being a truly awakening being in this prison planet of a place, and just kind of documenting and sharing the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm experiencing, what I'm becoming. So thanks for being here. Today we're talking about food. Food? What do you mean? What does that got to do with anything? We're talking about it because it's a huge chapter in my life right now. It is something that a lot of struggles have come to the surface with, and it's something that I'm really heavily moving through. And so I'd love to share this with you. First of all, I have used food as a way to completely and utterly escape my life, the realities of my life. When I ate food, I didn't have to feel or think about how unhappy and how depressed I was, even as a little kid. Food was an escapism. It was an avoidance. It was a pleasure thing. It was an addiction in a lot of ways, right? Why are people addicted to certain things? Because it's an escape from the reality that you're living. And over that time, growing up, I also had a lot of, okay, go back. Okay. So I thought that going on these pills, I was like, this is the answer to everything. They're telling me that's going to help me not feel what I'm feeling. It's going to help me to just completely be okay. And I love that for me, And my parents were like, just give it to her because she's unstable. I can honestly look back and tell you in the last 19 years that I was on them, there was never not a time where I wasn't in my shit. So I don't know what the fuck it numbed. I know a lot of people out there are like, antidepressants numb my emotions. I always felt my shit. I just had all these synthetic fucking drugs in me, but I always felt it. So whatever. And so I always wanted to intuitively get off of these things, but I couldn't handle feeling everything that I felt when I wasn't on these things. Okay. And so I was like, I just have to stay on them because when I get off of them, I would do these things, which is, please guys, never do this. You have to wean off with a medical professional guiding you through this. But I would just not take my antidepressants for a week and I would spiral. It was so bad. And so that taught me and that showed me that I need these things because when I'm not on these things, I'm not okay. Okay. And so, but I always knew that I wanted to get off of them. And so over the course of the 19 years that I was on them, I tried to get off of them. I would get messed up and I would go back on them. And I've been on all kinds of antidepressants. I've been on high doses, medium doses, low doses. I mean, anytime that I would try to get off of them, the brain zaps and it would just feel horrible. So I was relying on them. Obviously, I was addicted to them in some way. But I knew it was damaging me. And so when I decided in 2023, so 2 years ago, I was getting all of these signs and I knew that I was ready to get off these antidepressants for good. I knew it because at that point I had learned how to process, how to feel, how to alchemize the pain when it showed up. Okay. For real. Okay. So I learned for real that when the pain showed up, when there was terror, fear, insecurity, survival, lack, scarcity, I had learned because now I had been a student at my school, a student of my teacher, and this is the first thing that she teaches us, is when the shit comes up, I know what to do with it. So because I knew what to do with it, I knew that it was time for me to get off these fucking things. Okay. So with that being said, I decided in January of 2023 that after months of weaning off to the lowest dose with a medical professional, that it was time for me to say goodbye to these things. I went through 6 months of terrible withdrawal. The amount of nightmares that I had, the amount of terror that was eating me alive when I would wake up, that would haunt me, that would stalk me, how sick I felt, the brain zaps. I went through fucking hell weaning off of these things and withdrawing from these things, which tells you, then why the fuck are they giving this to us in the first place? What's actually going on? Let's just think about that for a second. Okay. So with that being said, I went through a lot, but throughout the entire 6 months of that withdrawal, I knew I just had to go in. I had to do the work that I learned. And I just became more powerful and more powerful and more powerful. And I look back on that time in my life, and even though it was so hard, it elevated me in so many ways, and I became more powerful within myself because of that experience. And so, all of this to say that when I started getting off my antidepressants and I started really working on myself, my stomach started to really shift and change. And I couldn't eat as much as I used to eat. And certain foods were starting to really hurt me. Food has always hurt me. It's always hurt my stomach. But this was different. I could tell. I could tell that the amount of food I was putting in, the kinds of food that I was putting in, was rapidly changing. And so I went through all of these phases throughout the last, especially 2 years, of doing intermittent fasting, not eating for 23, 22, 20 hours a day. And then I started going into 1 meal a day. And then I started going to juicing a little bit more and fasting. And I had realized that when I started juicing and fasting, I felt incredible. The moment I started putting food into my body, it was hurting. Fast forward to 2025 right now. This year has been an unbelievably shocking year of my body and food. I'm in a place right now where I've cut out 98% of the things that I used to eat. Anything that goes into my body that is solid hurts me in some way. And I have been in so much pain because of it. And the only time that I feel great is when I'm fasting and when I'm juicing. The moment I put food into my body, it's like the next day too, I feel hungover. And guys, if you saw what I'm eating, you'd be like, what the fuck? Okay. I'll eat a salad. Like literally, just some organic lettuce, half an avocado, some tomato with olive oil dressing and salt. And I will feel that shit for like 2 days. And it's so painful. I started wondering like, what the fuck is going on? And thankfully, I have a mentor and I have this metaphysical university that I'm at. And I started to learn and understand. And this makes so much fucking sense. When we are born into the prison planet, when we're born into the old earth, in patriarchy in the old earth, right, in our world right now, we are poisoned from every single angle. Our water, our food, the amount of fake food, the amount of pesticides, the amount of chemicals, the amount of heavy metals. Our air is toxic. They put it everywhere. It's to fuck us. You understand that, right? Everything's fucked. Unless you're literally growing your own food and your water is coming from a spring well that's never been untouched, you're in the boat with all of us that we're pretty much fucked because there's chemicals everywhere, okay? So in the old earth, in your old body, right, before you start doing the work on yourself, you're filled with all this shit, right? As you start to heal, as you start to awaken, as you start to evolve, your body, your physical body ascends. That's what ascension is. Your physical body ascends. Which means when your physical body ascends, the shit that you used to put in anymore, it can't go in there anymore. Because you're forming something new. So a new body is being created because you are becoming a new human. You can't be a highly elevated, enlightened being and be in a poison, toxin-filled body of the old earth. You can't. So you have to change. It has to change. And my teacher talks about this a lot. Your DNA starts recoding. Okay. And many of us, as we elevate for real and we go higher and higher and higher and we're forming crystalline bodies, the food and eating and all that stuff will start to go away for a lot of us. Okay. And there's going to be different levels to this. And, how high does your soul want to elevate in this life? Like, there are podcasts teaching. I'm not going to teach you about this. I'm just going to talk about my personal experience. And my personal experience is this, is that I truly see and understand that how rapidly my body is changing. I can literally feel inside of my body that something new is forming. It is crazy. It is wild. It's gnarly. And I can feel that I'm constantly being guided to not eat. But that's hard and challenging because we live in a world where everything surrounds eating. We're so brainwashed when it comes to food. Constantly eat, constantly eat, constantly eat, constantly eat. Hang out, eat. Go on a date, eat. Do nothing, eat. Munch, eat, 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 eat. Because when you're so filled with food, you are disconnected from feeling emotions. You are so disconnected from your soul when you're so bogged down with so much toxic filled food. Like, it completely severs us. I had a friend recently who, he is such an eater. He's a big muscly guy. He eats all day. And he decided to do a 24-hour water fast. And he said that 24-hour water fast, he felt more emotions than he had for the last 10 years. And I was like, yep. Because they want you to keep eating so that you don't feel what's in there that needs your love. So it bogs you down, makes you heavy, it makes you sleepy, it makes you tired, it makes you sluggish. And when you're feeling like that, you don't want to fucking do the work on yourself. You see it? So I'm on the rapid pace and road right now of eating less and less food. Like, what my soul is calling me to do is eating should be a once in a while thing, and it's mostly should be water fasting and juicing, which I hate. And I have ran so many resistance programs. I have ran so many tantrums and rebellion and fuck this. And then I'll go and eat something and then I'll feel like shit. And then it's this constant, see? You can't do this. Stop it. And it's such a dishonoring of my physical vessel, of what my soul is calling me to do, because I want to eat and if it tastes so good and it's so pleasurable. And it's but you're dishonoring yourself and your physical vessel. So what are you doing? So I am shocked at how fast this is happening for me. And I know, and I see it around so many people around me, their individual experiences with it, and they're on their own paths with it. But I see so many people eating less and less food. And when they do eat, it has to be pure and high vibe, which is hard to find, unless you're really growing your own food, because everything at the grocery store is fucked, So I make this video because if you're someone out there that's so confused, that's I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what's happening. Why can't I eat what I used to eat, or blah, blah, blah. And you're doing the work on yourself for real. This is what's happening. And if you want to learn more in depth, check out the podcast episode in the description in the box below to learn a little bit deeper about what's happening, because it's wild. Check out our podcast, the Masters of Self University podcast. Check us out at mastersofselfuniversity.com if you're really looking to raise your level of consciousness and elevate higher and higher and higher. And subscribe, leave a comment, let's chat. Until next time, I'll see you guys then. Bye.